Hey, this is the Algebra 1 lesson 2.4, solving equations with variables on both sides. Okay, so we have done one step, two steps, multi-step, and now we're going to do more multi-step, but with variables on either side. So again, we're going to approach these the same. Put your tracks around the equal sign, and then find your variable. Or variables, right? We have a variable here, but we also have one here, so we can see that they're on both sides. So in order to solve to get x by itself, we need to bring one of the terms onto the other side, or just we need to have them both on the same side. So in order to do that, we need to subtract one of the terms from both sides. So it doesn't matter which one. You could subtract the 5x or the 2x. I like to just subtract the one that makes the coefficient in front of the x, that's the number in front of the x, positive, if it's obvious. So in this case, I would subtract the 2x. So I'm going to subtract the 2x from this side to get rid of it there, which means I have to subtract the 2x from this side. Okay, and so, and as you see, I'm lining them up with the terms that they match, right? I'm not writing it here. Right, I'm lining it up underneath the 5x because that's where I'm subtracting it from. Those are the like terms. Okay, and so what that leaves is 3x here, and we still have this plus 2 equals, and then this goes away. That becomes 0, which we don't write, equals 14. Okay, and now when we find our variable, we have one of them, it's by itself on the same side, and it's all simplified there. So then we can just subtract the 2 from both sides. And then we get 3x equals 12, and then we can divide both sides by 3. And we are left with x equals 4. Okay, and this would be 20 plus 2, 22. This would be 8 plus 14, also 22, so that worked. Okay, so press pause and try this next one on your own, and then check back for the solution. Okay, hopefully you got k equals negative 8 over 3. You can just leave that as a fraction. You don't need to turn it into a decimal or anything. I just subtracted the 4k to get the two k's on the same side. And then that made it a positive k on this side, positive 3k. We have our plus 2, minus 10. So, oh, I made a mistake. So hopefully you didn't get that. Hopefully that's not the answer you got. Do you guys see my mistake? And you got to be careful about this. It's good. You guys learn when I make mistakes too. So here, and this is a big mistake I see a lot of people make too. You just do this quickly. I was doing this quickly. And look what I did there. I added 2. I didn't subtract it. So this would have been a plus 4, right? Not a 0. So let's fix this. And let's make this a minus 2 and a minus 2. There we go. Then we don't have a fraction. This should be minus 12. There we go. Okay, and then when I divide by 3, we get k equals negative 4. So hopefully you actually got k equals negative 4. Okay, moving on. A word problem here. It takes a graphic designer 1.5 hours to make one page of a website. Using new software, the designer could complete each page in 1.25 hours, but it takes 8 hours to learn the software. How many web pages would the designer have to make in order to save time? I guess you guys can read, sorry. So here, let's look at what the question is asking. How many web pages? So that's going to be our x. X is number of web pages. That way, when we get our x, we know that's our answer. And so if we have 1.5 hours to make one website, that's how long it would take him to make websites the old way, right? And we want to know, what's the break-even point? Like, when do they equal each other? So this is the old way. And then let's make this the new way. And the new way would be 1.25 times x, but the 8 extra hours to learn the software. Okay, and so when are they going to be equal? So we can see here we have two variables, and or the same one variable, but they're on two different sides. And we want to combine them. So let's subtract the 1.25x, because then we would just get 0.25x here, and then that would go away, equals 8, and then we could divide by 0.25, and x would be 32. So in order to break even, it would have to, so how many web pages would the designer have to make in order to save time using the new software? If the designer made 32, it would be the same. To actually save time, you'd have to do one more than that. So I would actually say 33 web pages, right? Because it says in order to save time, this is the same time. To save time, you'd have to do more than that. So I would make that 33. Okay, so this one is the one for you to do on your own. Let me give you a little bit more space here. Not that you need it because you're writing on your page, but please press pause and try this on your own and then check back for the solution. Okay, so for this one, he spent $650, but then now his extra cost is going to be 88. His extra monthly cost is 88. So 88 times the number of months, that's his new bill, but he needs to pay off the 650. And if he just had the old bill, right, that would have been 112x. They want to see when would they be equal? And that would be a little bit more than 27 months. So in how many months would a copy pay for itself? That would be 28 months, right? You'd have to round up to this, right? Because the old way would still be better at 27 months, but once you get to 28 months, you've got your money back. Okay, let's look at some more problems. These we're going to treat the same. We're going to put our tracks around it. And again, we have now an X on the left side and an X on the right side, but it's in parentheses. So now we have to simplify before we can even get them on the same side. So let's distribute this. 10x minus 2 equals 3x plus 33. And then let's subtract 3x so that we can get all the x's on the same side. We get 7x minus 2 equals 33. Then we can add 2 on both sides. 7x equals 35. And then we can divide by 7. And x equals 5. Okay, so this is just combining our having variables on both sides, having our x's on both sides, and having to simplify both sides. So press pause, try these next two on your own, and then check back for the solution. Okay, so hopefully for B you got -5. You can follow along there if you want to press pause. And then CA is 4. Okay, last one here. So sometimes if you're solving a problem, let's just go ahead and solve it and I'll explain what happens. With these ones, let's say simplify this side. We have our 2 x's, one on each side. So let's simplify this. Oops, there we go. 10x plus 12 equals 10x plus 12. Maybe you see it now. Let's subtract 10x from both sides to try to get them on the same side. But look what happens. They go away, they cancel, and we're just left with 12 equals 12. So we never get x alone, and this is what's called an identity. So if you're solving these and your variable cancels itself out, and then what you're left with is true, so 12 does always equal 12, this is always true. This is called an identity. Okay, and then let's see another example. Here we have 1, 2, 3 m's we have to combine. So here, let's combine these two, and we get 9m plus 5. That's a 9, not a 5. And then 9m minus 4. If we subtract a 9m from both sides, you can see we cancel, and we're left with -4 equals 5. This is never true. So this means no solution. There's nothing that you can plug in for m here that would make this true. Okay, so if your variable cancels and you get a true statement, it's called an identity. If your variables cancel and you get a false statement, there's no solution. So try these last two on your own, and then we'll be done. Press pause and then check back for your solution. Okay, so this one ended up being an identity because we've got the same thing on both sides. And then this one ended up being no solution because 7 never equals -3. Okay, that's it. Enjoy.